Did at any point she say whether Mr. Lucelli was armed?
No.
No.
He wasn't armed.
Okay, so she did say, but he was not armed.
Correct.
So she acknowledges that Mr. Lucelli was not armed in excess of 10 feet from her when she threw this knife at him.
Correct.
So progressing from that, during the interview of the defendant, you became aware that she was on the phone with her mother during the incident.
Yes.
What did you do as a result of that?
As a result of finding out that she was on the phone?
Yeah, after knowing that she was on the phone with her mom, and then you finished the interview, what did you do?
Oh, I was able to get in contact with the mother over the phone.
Okay. Did you do an audio recorded interview of Miss Clenny's mother?
Yes.
Okay. Were you aware that there was anyone present besides you and your fellow detective on that call?
No.
Okay. At what point did you become aware that there was someone else on that call?
When the attorney arrived at the station, her father jumped spoke from on the same call, saying that the attorney was there and that they would like for the attorney to be present for any more questions.
So during the length of your interview with her, you were not aware that she was with someone else, another person?
Correct.
As you were doing.
That's relevant because it suggests consciousness of guilt. They're being surreptitious about their participation on this phone call. And is that what a lawful person would do, or someone who thinks they're guilty?
During that interview, what did you ask Mrs. And I directed the court to the audio recorded statement as an evidence, but again, will you please synopsize the contents of that call?
We spoke about the relationship between the victim and the defendant. And she explained to me that I believe it was about a week before the incident that the mother was there for 6 days because Christian wouldn't leave the house and he kept following her around. So she came down to Miami to see if the transition of him leaving the apartment would be a lot better than just them two trying to figure it out.
That's YouTube doing that, folks. It's not a great effort by YouTube on this one. Yeah, the timer is clicking. I'm skipping forward. Yep. Skipping forward. There we go.
Nothing more than that.
Correct.
Mrs. Clinton didn't say anything about how that hurts or any indication that the defendant was injured in any way.
Correct.
Did Mrs. Clinton tell you the circumstances of the incident, how she knows the incident occurred or under what circumstances?
On the day of?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. At any point did she tell you she knows what happened?
No.
So having moved on from that, earlier we talked about how you were evaluating the case for possible self-defense.
Yes.
So what did you do as a result of, on the date of the incident, what did you do as a result of where you were at?
I don't understand.
In a nutshell, after you interviewed the defendant, you interviewed the victim,
Yes.
or rather you interviewed the defendant, you interviewed her, the defendant's mother, crime scene, photographed the scene.
Yes.
They documented her, you collected all pieces of evidence. What else happened that night?
Nothing else. We finished with the scene and the defendant was let go.
Okay. Is that normal protocol?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that normal protocol?
At the time, we didn't have enough to say what actually did occur, and we still needed to continue the investigation.
Had a decision been made as to the defendant's criminal culpability at that point?
Well, at first, I was leaning more towards a self-defense.
No, we discussed that. My question was,
yes.
did you close the case and say it was self-defense, or was it still open?
No, it was still open.
Okay.
Yes.
So the investigation was still open, it was still pending. Okay. So what are the next steps you took in your open investigation?
Okay. So we did several warrants for everybody's cell phones, the victim and the defendant's cell phone. We did warrants for social media, and yeah, I believe a couple of other warrants as well.
As a result of some of these warrants, did you end up briefing the state attorney's office about the investigation?
Yes.
Okay. As pursuant to that briefing, were there subpoenas that were sought?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just going to go through things that are in evidence. But did you obtain police reports and body camera from Las Vegas?
Yes.
We're going to talk about this. I'm just going through it. We mentioned warrants. You said on the phone. Which phones are you speaking about?
I'm speaking about the victim's cell phone and the defendant's cell phone.
Okay. Were you able to get the extraction from the victim's cell phone?
Yes.
Were you able to get the extraction from the defendant's cell phone?
Not yet.
Is that still pending and being attempted?
Yes.
From the extraction, were you able to obtain data and information?
Correct.
So we'll cross that bridge in a little bit. Pursuant to subpoenas, were you able to obtain surveillance footage and incident reports from one party? So, condominium.
Yes.
Did you also obtain lease documents?
Yes.
As part of those documents, were you able to obtain the fob records?
Yes.
You mentioned
The fob records have to do with they used a key fob like you might use for a car to gain access to their apartment, to operate the elevator in the apartment building. So you can tell when people are going in and out by the fob records.
Warrants on social media. Was that the Instagram warrant?
Yes.
And is that how we know the precise time in which Ms. Clinton was live?
Yes.
Did at some point you obtain the call detail records of Ms. Clinton?
Yes.
Or the defendant, sorry. Even though I lost myself on that. At some point, did you obtain the criminal history of the defendant?
Yes.
At some point, did you obtain, pursuant to subpoenas as we were discussing, financial records belonging to the defendant?
Yes.
Now let's go back again. Date of incident, crime scene process. At any point, did you obtain a diagram of the apartment?
Yes.
Was that diagram to scale and measured and documented?
Yes.
Just noting for the court, Exhibit 19. Will you please describe to the court the crime scene? Again, it requires the photos, but just outline it for it.
Okay. The crime scene is an apartment located on the 22nd floor of the One Paraíso building. It's a 3-bedroom apartment with a single kitchen and living room. You want me to explain also where the scene was located? Or?
Yes, please, if you don't mind. So let's parse that through. And actually, let's take steps of this. When crime scene enters an apartment,
yes.
You tell the court the various photographs that they take, such as the initial scene, the measurements, and so on.
So before anything is done, we take all photographs from the first floor of the building to show what building we're going to. The elevator, the floor of the elevator that it stops on, the number that's fixed to the front of the apartment, the front door, and then all wide-angled and far away photos of every room in the apartment.